All right, guys, I am starting The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. And check out my little plushie back there. It is an eggplant emoji. I got that from one of the authors that sent me Hired. So B. Subjakin, she sent that, and I think that he's adorable. But that's not what this check-in is about. This is about Bridge Kingdom. I am literally starting. I have a physical copy and I have an audio copy from Audible because I decided to re-enroll in the subscription. And this is free if you have Audible Plus. But y'all, I knew going in that this was about a girl who was sent by her father to take over and marry a prince of another land that is near them. So that way she could kill him and she could take over. But what I did not know is going ahead of the game, A, that Laura was a savage. 2, that it's like a competition between her and her 11 other sisters, and that those other sisters have no chance at living because the father only cares about whoever he picks, and he didn't necessarily pick Laura. Like, I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but I did not know this going in. And when they were at the dinner table and he was getting ready to do his announcement, I was like, excuse me? Why did I wait so long to read this? Like, I heard it was great, but I didn't know. And I'm finally feeling like I can get into my fantasy romance era, and I feel the vibes. I feel like I'm enjoying this. I will check in with you when I am further than like 3 pages in, but that just lets you know, like, she starts off with a bang. As you all could just see, I went to an adult Easter egg hunt. And when I say adults, they gave away seltzers. So this one is raspberry, and I also have a passion fruit. We will see how I feel about these. I have my bag of loot, but I've got 2 really large eggs. Let's see what's in them. Again, it's called a boozy egg, so I'm assuming... This is a strawberry lemonade natural light shot. And then let's see what this one is. This one is a Smirnoff vodka. So, cared for there. And in addition to the candy, I did win a door prize. And I got a waffle maker. So, that was a really great time. I actually have another one to go to next weekend, but I'm doing a weekend reading vlog. So let's talk about The Bridge Kingdom. That is what I'm reading. I believe that I'm about 35 to 40% through Bridge Kingdom. I can't really tell because the one thing I do not like about Audible is it doesn't give you percentage in the book. It only goes by hours. If there is anybody that you know that works on the Audible team, let them know that we want percentage, right? We want to know how far into the book we are, not necessarily by chapters, because that doesn't help us. But so far, my thoughts are Laura is smart, right? We already knew she had the game at the beginning of the book, but really understanding how to manipulate people, how to keep her ear to the street and find out the information, how to reroute, has been playing to her strong suit. But the interesting part is she believes that the king, whose name is Aaron, who is her now husband, she believes that he wanted a damsel in distress. But she notices that he may not necessarily want that. And that's absolutely true. Aaron does not want another person to care for. He wants his actual mate to be able to match him wit for wit. And truthfully, Laura can do that. She's just playing coy right now to be able to get the insight and get the intel. She doesn't want to play her hand too early in the game. But when Arn really finds out who she is, what she can do, I think they're going to be, a power couple. Currently, you can start to see that her mask is being well hidden. However, they did get into a battle where she was like, ooh, my option is either I let him die and then everything is spoiled, or I step in to save him and show my hands. So she actually decided to go in and save him, but he doesn't really know just yet what the true lengths of her power is. So I'm interested to see how that reveal will go. Now, let's talk about Arn's family. His family is full of strong women, and I think that is because of the nature of the community that Ithacana has. His sister is witty, she is sassy, and truly I think she gets it from their Nana. Their grandma is a spitfire. She runs a tight ship. She doesn't let, even though her grandson is the king, she's like, baby, I changed your diapers. What you're not going to do is come up in my house and tell me anything. And I love that. I love women that, are bosses. Y'all know this by now. But so far, I feel like there is a little bit of he falls first. Now, he may not know her in her full true nature, but he's like, there's something about this Laura girl. And they had a scene, which I think was like in the a bathing scene, where she was like, okay, he was like, you can either get gone or you could play your cards right. And they wind up playing truth or drink, which I love a good game sequence. I love it when they are playing each other in some sort of competition and truths and secrets have to be revealed, because this is how they are building their trust with one another. There is a scene where Laura has a fear or phobia of being in the water, and he decides to care for her. So it is a little bit of a hurt comfort trope, which you all know is my newly found bag, because he has a sensitive spot because his parents were killed in a water incident. So her phobia triggered him, and he did a hurt comfort. So far I am liking the book, and I am hoping to continue on with that. I am also in the midst of reading an arc. I should have mentioned that. I will also be giving you all updates on Dirt Road Secrets, which is the second in the Copper Lake series. I have an arc. It actually came out today. So shout out to Ashley James, because this book is so good. It is a male cowboy romance, but it's opposites attract. So you have a cowboy with a city boy. And I'm going to tell you, it has demisexual representation, which I am so glad to be reading from. Cope is somebody that I have been looking forward to his book, and I just didn't know it was what was going to be held. So very, very good representation in terms of hurt comfort as well. You've got demisexual representation. You've got figuring out, what truly matters the most to you. Is it your aspirations in your career? Is it finding your particular person? I will talk about this a little bit more, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and do a reeling clip. As you all can see, I just had a really great meal at Black Bear Diner. I took my father out for his birthday, and that is where he wanted to go, which was perfect for me because I was already in my Southwest type of bag with Dirt Road Secrets. I had a delicious meal, and that is a delicious book. So those two really do pair well together because This centers Xander and Copeland. Now, Copeland is our demisexual character that I mentioned to you all. He is a bronc rider, and we got a lot of him as he is the best friend to the main male character, Shooter Graham, in the first book, 8 Seconds to Ride. Now, Shooter Graham is my absolute favorite, and if you loved him, do know that he is also in this book, but it's not about him. Really, it's about the romance between Cope and Xander. Now, Xander is having a little bit of a rough time. He is coming into Copper Lake to take care of his aunt, who is going in for hip surgery, and she has a slew of farm animals. Now, I told you all in an earlier clip that Xander is a city boy. He has absolutely no clue how to handle a ranch, and he had no clue on terms of how to care for the animals. And that's where Cope stands in. Copeland is by far the sweetest character you will ever meet. He is one of those people that you know he has never met a stranger, and it shows. But in that, he also has a little bit of reserves. He doesn't necessarily fall in line with a lot of people, and when he takes you under his wing and he just starts to develop feelings for you, you know that they're for real. And that is what I love to see. This has no third act breakup, which I could not stand it if that was something that Ashley did right, because these characters go through enough. Xander is coming out of a toxic relationship where he has a little bit of a gaslighting. And I think, again, Ashley did that really well, because there is a little bit of emotional cheating. It doesn't happen in terms of physical cheating. So please know where you draw the line in. You know, me personally, in my books, I don't mind cheating as long as it's not on the two main characters. However, Xander is in a relationship at the type that he meets Copeland, which is fine because Cope is just there to be friendly with him. He is trying to help him out. He is just a good-natured man. But as we see, they just start to develop feelings, and it could be conceived as emotional cheating, but it never crosses that line. And Xander's ex-boyfriend, or current boyfriend at the time, he comes into town, and you would think that he would stir the pot and go off and do horrible things, because one of the interesting points is Xander owns a dispensary, and his boyfriend Henry is a investor in his business. And I thought Ashley was going to make Henry the big bad villain and make it some diabolical, nefarious plot to get Xander back. And I appreciate that she didn't take that route. That would have diminished a lot of the things that we saw in this book. And one of the biggest things is not the outside forces of other people that impacts their relationship. Cope could give a hell if anyone had anything to say about it, just because he loves Xander with his whole being. This is a soulmate relationship, and I really loved that they had a good bond and friendship. So it's not other people that comes in and tears apart their relationship. It is time. It is distance. It is feelings of insecure. It's a lot of things that also play into the dynamics of how someone sees themselves in a relationship. I enjoyed getting to see that. This is one of those that is a slow burn. At no point were you under the impression that they weren't going to get together. It just wasn't rushing into it, which is a number of things that we hear in the community. People want to see a romance build over time. They don't want to just jump into smut. Now, me personally, I don't mind, and do know that it happens. There is a scene in here where I think it's going to live rent-free in my mind. And it happens on the tour bus, and it is not, it's a competition. Let me just say that. So do know it is a slow burn, but it does have some hot payoff and some steam towards the end. I really, really appreciate what Ashley is doing with the series, and I hope that I can continue on with her. But one of the things I'll mention before getting into the Bridge Kingdom, we talk about sassy matriarchs in Dirt Road Secrets. Xander's aunt, hilarious to boot. She has a filthy mouth on her, and I absolutely love it. Again, I want to see women and mature women in our books that have that matriarch figure that really just lets them know, hey, baby, I was a spitfire in my day. And I love seeing that. So that brings me along to talk about Bridge Kingdom. Now, I did just finish this one. I actually wind up giving it a 3.5. Now, hear me out. I know everybody loves rants and raves about this. I thought it was really good. The romance between the two characters, again, they are rivals to lovers, arranged marriage, and it builds over time. You can see that he falls first, and really the main character, Laura, is the person that I tend to be like, girl, you could have just made this all easy on us and you could have told the truth. But before I get there, I will tell you that the reason why I'm giving this a 3.5, some parts of it was very predictable, which I do like. However, I felt like there was a little bit of lull. This started off so strong with the way in which Laura took over and decided that she was going to be her father's champion. And so from there, I just assumed that it was going to be fast paced. It was going to be hit. And we started to, obviously build the scene. We started to build the characters and the dynamics of it, but it didn't keep my interest all the way through. And I think that was hard for me because it started off so strong. But by the time you get, probably I would say 66% of the way, or once you get to that 75 mark, it picks back up and it hits and it eats. I will tell you that one of the things that I love about this couple is that they're both strong and they both have their weaknesses. So, for example, Aaron's weakness is his love for his people and his love for Laura. Everyone knows that the way in which to his heart is by his queen. And so she is his weakness, but she's also his strength because they are constantly saving each other. Laura has saved him twice, and he has saved and comforted her just as many times. And I love that they are equally yoked in that regard, and that he sees her as his equal. I just wish that Laura would see that for him as well. And I think, again, it is a cliffhanger because there's something that happens where Laura gets the chance to prove herself, but I almost wish we didn't have to go through that. I understand that the book is supposed to build upon. There is more than one book in this series, so I get it. We've got to do something. But Laura, no, she could have stopped this. What she did is she tried to save her own tail. And I saw that from a mile away. It was not going to work, sister. Like, you should have just, while you was in here confessing, because the man already knew, you should have just fessed up. But what she did was she tried to save her own hide, and it wound up biting her in that ass. So some other things that I like about this, again, I told you I do like the sister, so Aaron's sister and his aunt. Again, I love the female representation, even seeing Marisol, who is a character that was a mistress to Aaron in a previous past life. And I really liked that there was no animosity. She was like, he is one of the best men that I've ever known, and I'll be damned if he loves you. I'm going to support you, and I'm going to support that union because he deserves the best. And so, again, I like not seeing that other woman conflict and them all playing for the same side. Again, some of the political alliances in here, I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. Let me know more. Now, where Danielle did get me was at the end, and I was like, yep, here goes badass Laura again, stepping back on the scene. Let's put this person in their place and let them know, hey, I love you, but what you're not going to do is mess up what I got going on over here. And that is what I had been looking for the entire series. I wanted that type of energy all the way through. And maybe that's unrealistic, but when you start off with a bang like this one did, you got to keep the hits rolling. So without further ado, I am going to close out this vlog. I need you all to do me a favor. Laura loves her knife, so leave me a knife or sword emoji and tell me what you all have been reading, whether it's fantasy romance or you've been reading cowboy romance. If you have to choose, which one would you choose? And if you don't want to do that, like I said, leave me a knife or sword emoji, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.